And we're back. We're back.
I think that's we don't do what's the word? An intro. We don't even say welcome to the
And the thing
stage
is,
standard bodybuilding
people
bikini. I
listen
can't even remember what our podcast is called.
to bikini breakdown.
That one, yeah.
It's so confused when we started. But that's the thing. So if people don't watch this either, they won't even realize what we do at the beginning of the podcast every time. It's just quiet until we speak.
We just
Great.
wing it now.
Yeah.
Like, sorry guys, you probably take this a lot more seriously than we do.
But we do have confirmation that we have at least a handful of people that watch. Just one handful, but they support us, so we show up for them.
The handful is growing. It's going
Yeah.
from
We've
three
gone
to
from
four to five.
to be two hands before the end of the year.
The goal is to have two handfuls by the end of the year.
Yeah, by the end of the season, don't let us down. But show season is actually back, albeit just a two bro show, and we will have to
Yes.
bear with the photos that they post. Obviously, is not the best. But on the plus side, PCA is this weekend, and we're both going to be at PCA.
I'm
Um,
not going.
you're not going. I'll be there, so it's fine. So I mean,
Um,
PCA posts the reels anyway, so we're going to have good content. But if there is
I
anything, photos.
love the Welsh.
Mm.
It's, I
I keep
mean, it's
working.
home. No, I'd love to go, but I'm tied up this
It's
weekend.
quite far for you now as well since you've moved, isn't it? It's a bit of a trek.
Yeah, but it's still home. So like any opportunity that I can get to go back home, I normally am like, yeah, I'm on it. But to be fair, like it's no further away from me than what it would have been from Manchester.
No, okay. Yeah.
It's just Manchester's further up and
You're across now. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Um, but where is it? Is it in Newport? Are they doing it where Worlds was?
I think so. Let me get that up.
The ICC.
I think it is. I should know this because I'm actually going there. Um,
Mate, sometimes I just look at the calendar the day before and I'm
yeah,
like, where do I need to?
yeah, I just kind of Google map it the day before and I know what direction I'm going then.
Yeah, it's like, just
But
make sure you get a picture in
there.
front of the big red dragon, please.
I'll do my best. But yeah, we'll be there all day because he literally has classic one bodybuilder, men's physique, then I've obviously got bikini. So
Have you booked accommodation yet? Are you staying up the day before?
no,
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's not far for us at all.
Oh, yeah, because you're like
That's why
Gloucester
we
way.
moved. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I was gonna say because if you're gonna stay close to there, don't stay in Newport. Newport's a shithole. I'm sorry for anybody that lives there, right? You can't convince me otherwise. I
We
stayed in Cardiff when Worlds was on because I was like, I'm absolutely not staying in Newport.
we are just over an hour away if there's no traffic. So that's the
Mm,
whole reason we moved, because obviously we're Cornwall, then we're Plymouth, but being
yeah,
southwest, we nearly moved to Wales. So we were just like pointed central on the map and then just Google map
yeah,
like Manchester, Birmingham, Milton Keynes, like where all the shows would be, and then just went kind of pretty
yeah.
central. And that's how we ended up here
I
because
mean, it makes sense, but
yeah,
like, Cardiff is one of my favorite places in the whole wide world. That's where I was born. I've got family there, so like Wales has a special place in my heart, but Newport is not it.
I guess that's
Genuinely, like, I
like
could have
anywhere.
stayed in Newport and been like 10 minutes away from the venue, but I decided to stay in central Cardiff that was like half an hour.
Out
But
half an hour. But that's like Cornwall, like, because obviously we're from there and everyone's like, oh, it's so lovely. Why did you move out? Blah, blah. And it's lovely to visit if you go to the right places, but there's still areas which are a huge shithole. Sorry, Cornwall.
yeah.
But there is. Like, I think that's with everywhere, because even where we are here, like, there's some gorgeous places, and then there's some places which are a bit sketchy.
Oh,
Um,
don't get me wrong. Like I live on a lovely marina, but I can show you some things.
I think that's anywhere. Just choose where you go and Enjoy it. But Two Bros was this weekend anyway, and it was in Lincoln, so we are back. It didn't look busy purely because
No.
wellness there was only two girls in the overall, fit model only had three girls in the overall, and bikini only had four girls in the overall. So
That's
the classes were not stacked. But to all that did compete, huge well done because you're
Oh,
keeping.
I just want to give a little shout out to my posing client, Soph, who competed. She competed in a couple of the not open wellness classes and won both her classes. I think it was like True Novice, and I can't keep up with all the what the classes are.
Is
But she
crazy.
won a couple of her classes, so and it's her first time competing with two bros.
Ah,
So massive congrats.
well done. So, can you see the screen?
I can.
Okay, perfect. I always got to check before I start because I don't know when you can. So, wellness starting. So, I am going to start with saying because I looked at the bikini overall lineup and I know some of the girls that competed, and I do think the photography, I know we said this before, but I am going to confirm that I feel personally that the girls look softer in the photos than they do to what they brought to stage. If you competed
Okay.
and you agree, comment below. I might be wrong.
Yeah, let us know.
I do think that's a saving grace as well because I think sometimes girls can definitely in some photos look a lot softer. But from what I knew, because I follow some of the bikini girls in the lead up, they did look a lot leaner. And then looking at like their own pictures on show day and then what this was posted. So we take with a pinch of salt if we think someone could be leaner, they might just be soft from the photos.
I mean, it does surprise me, but I always say this when it's like when I'm taking pictures of myself, and I'll say it to my clients, it's like when you can change the lighting in a picture and it will make you look completely different. And quite often, if there's too much light, it will flush out detail. So, and that's why you see Ryan at shows. He is so particular about the lighting setup. Like I've literally seen him guiding people through quarter turns, but he's noticed that something is off with the light and he's running
Oh yeah,
the
I've seen
venue,
him like
looking
stop.
at the lights, going,
No, literally, I've seen him stop like after the first class or so when they've obviously judged it, and like they have these really long like hook things to like
"Mm,
change the lighting and like
yeah.
read it. Like you've seen that there's a problem. You've obviously checked it beforehand, but seen that now people are on the stage. So absolute credit to it because this isn't the case with Two Boys.
Well, Ryan's like, as far as I understand, like trained, professionally trained when it comes to lighting. So,
That's what you
yeah. So,
want.
well, that's why the pictures are always so good because it's not just the photographer that's responsible for it. Ryan is really involved in that. But I kind of feel like maybe a little bit with Two Bros that they are kind of just subject to whatever the lighting is at the
Yeah,
venue,
like
or
the theatre
or
that.
they don't adjust it.
Mm.
And when you've got like a dark room but really bright lights, it can
I
flush
know
out details.
like Matt Thomas before has said when obviously because obviously the PCA take their own lighting, don't they? Or they do
Yeah.
some, yeah.
Well, where they can,
Yeah.
yeah.
So obviously Two Bros is going to deal with the lighting that's given there. And I know because I know Matt Thomas when he's done like other shows and like his photos could be better or he's annoyed and it's because of the lighting. So we take that with a pinch of salt as well. Like it's as much as we say about Two Bros, I still give them grace that they can only control what they can control.
But the
Um
reason I bring it up is because, like, just for anybody that's watching this, like, if you take pictures of yourself and you're like, I can see myself in the mirror and I think I look amazing, and then you take a picture of yourself and it doesn't quite translate the same, more often than not, I guarantee it's exposure of light,
yeah.
and then how the camera equipment captures
Mm.
that. It doesn't necessarily, that's why you always have to take pictures with a pinch of salt because light can have a massive impact on how you look
Yeah.
in an image.
Definitely. So we had, I don't know, unfortunately, the girl on the lovely girl on the what would be my left. But I know Ashley was the winner who is on the right. And for
Congratulations.
me personally, I can see why Ashley won. Just because she does look a little bit leaner and she does just look like she holds a little bit more muscle. So that to me would be what comes down to it. It looks like again, I hate it when we don't know names, but who
Yeah.
Ashley is against on stage. Looks like there is some muscle there. Like abs do look like they're coming through, and it looks like there could be some quads here. And the glutes do look full, and even the delts. So I'd say again, take it with a pinch of salt how lean she needs to be. But in comparison to who she's against, because it's the same lighting, Ashley is leaner, and we can see a lot more muscle poking through. So yeah, I would
Yeah.
just, that to me,
No,
it's
I
in that degree.
yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I think for both ladies, my feedback would be is that I think more condition would help both. Like even actually as the winner, you can see that there's some lovely, bubbly, well-developed muscle there. Um, a touch more condition through the glutes and hamstrings, I think would just help make that pop a little bit better. Um, and as always the case, more muscle always helps with that as well. But that's not something that you can address in a prep. Do you know what I mean? So that's more like longer term thinking. But you can definitely see the muscle bellies
Mm,
and insertion points more clearly. And I think that that probably would have been the deciding
yeah.
factor here. Like lovely quad sweep.
Yeah.
That stands out to me, particularly in the back pose. So yeah, I
Interesting
can understand why that outcome was how it was.
see how things might change if she is competing again. Hopefully so. I would like to, well, most of these girls that are going into these overalls, and especially if you're winning, go for more shows. So then we can keep seeing you come back on stage. Fit model, I do think this is actually quite a nice lineup with Fit model, to be fair.
It is.
So we did have it was Rachel. Let me see if she's got any updates as well. So she was in the pink bikini. I'm trying to go on to each of their profiles as well. So then we can hopefully see if there's any, she
I mean,
says.
to be fair, looking at the three of them, like before I knew who won,
Yeah,
my eyes were drawn to Rachel. And it's not because there was anything wrong with the other girls. Like I said, I agree with you. I think there's three really nice representations of fit model here. But I think, and I know I've touched on this before in previous commentary, but there is something for me about a fit model physique where when the girl is posing, they look like they're not trying too hard. And I
yeah,
think that in these front poses, that was the thing that stood out to me about Rachel the most is that she just looks like she's just standing and owning it. Not just standing there and not posing, but the pose looks like she's not manipulating her body too hard to make it happen. Um, and obviously then when you go to the back pose, that I would say there's appropriate glute definition there. Like it's not too sharp. There's not complete etched in tie-ins or anything like that. That you can see the outline, nice fullness of the glute, um, nice balance all
yeah.
round. Like I say, and I just like the fact that she just is confidently
Yeah.
owning
I
it.
think she has a very eye-catching facials. Like it's a very confident facials. She looks very balanced from top to bottom. Like there is a little bit of muscle there, but like her delts just look a little bit fuller than the other two girls. But I do really like actually how small the other two girls in the red, how small their waist is, but their glutes actually look like they pop really nicely. And I think that's just down to the fact their bikinis sit a tiny bit higher. Whereas Rachel sits a little bit lower. So I think if she had it higher as well, she would also see that glute pop from the front. And
Mm.
then from the back, I'd say it looks like we can see that definition for sure. I just don't know whether because it looks like she's leaning forward a little bit. So I'd like to see how she looks if she didn't push back so far and then stood a bit more upright. If that definition was
Yeah.
still there, if she gets a little bit more fullness at the top of her glute, and again, just gets a bit more of that balanced look because we can see her top line rather than her leaning forward.
Yeah,
It is
of
again
course.
we think it's a little bit of a softer photo. If that's the case and we can still see those lines, that's looking really good.
Yeah. No,
So
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of all of them.
yeah, I think
Um,
they're all very, because sometimes we can be like, oh, they need to lose more, do this, do that. I think they were all very good representations. I like it. It was a competitive overall for a fit model, which was nice considering I feel like it was quality, not quantity for that overall, which was nice to see for
yeah.
fit. And then for our bikini, it's so crazy that we only had four girls. How many classes is there? Like eight, something like that. And yet there was just four girls in the overall.
Yeah, I think I am gonna call to question whether or not I think NPC have made competing with them so expensive now that it has put off a lot of people that might have competed with Two Bros in the past when it would have been more affordable. Like I think back to when I first competed with Two Bros in 2019 and it was £65 a class and you didn't have to pay for a membership. And like for me, if it was £65 a class without a membership, I jump into these shows for fun.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm kind of like, look, unless I want the IFBB Pro Road to Pro dream, what is the point in needing to remortgage my house that I don't even have to compete in these shows? Because I'll tell you something for nothing, it's not fun losing all that money and not placing.
And also people
So
a lot of money to be on stage for a very small amount of time.
short time.
So again, that's something like I think as well, if people are looking at doing abroad shows, it's very rare you see someone do a regional and then do another one. They are in that
Oh
region
yeah,
to then move on. So it's like
yeah.
just get my ticket so I can then do a pro qualifier because it is a lot of money. Like I love the NPC look. Like I personally
Oh,
like
for sure. Yeah,
fullness.
yeah, yeah.
I love the posing front and back, great. But for this in the UK to come on stage, like it's a very short amount of time. And it's good to a degree, like if you are in a busy lineup, because you can get fatigued because they can really work you. But when it comes to your routine, when you want those photos, it is very face front, face to back, off you pop kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's knowing that. And I still love everything about the NPC, but just knowing when it comes to two rows, I do think people are probably just coming in to get their ticket and then they move on.
Yeah.
So the numbers are
No,
dwindling.
I agree. Like, I love the NPC look, right? Like, the Olympians, I'm like, wow,
I
when
love
I
it.
see them. Do you know what I mean? I love the effortlessness of it. I love what it represents. I am here for it.
Mm,
Um, but I also accept at the same time that like my physique doesn't lean towards that aesthetic. And for me, it's kind of like I I would love to compete in more of those shows just for fun.
yeah.
Do you know? And I love the shows in Spain and Portugal and abroad. Like they're great, and the shows I've seen in America are insane.
Mm,
Um, but it's not fun when you're having to pay upwards of £140 for one class where
True.
you're pretty much on stage for like 5 minutes. And
Yeah.
I'm not exaggerating when I say 5 minutes. Like the last time that I competed, I was probably on stage for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I don't I that's not that's too much expense for fun. Like if I genuinely thought that I had a chance of turning IFBB pro or that was the goal I wanted to pursue, it would be worth the investment. But I don't see that in my future. And so it's a big cost for fun.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing as well, because if everything that comes with it, because they automatically add on like the glaze and things like that, like you don't have an option. And but yeah,
But
it'd be
then
interesting.
saying that, it's not that different now for PCA if you're a pro.
Yeah.
£100 class.
Oh yeah, to be fair. Yeah, but I guess I don't know. It's weighing. I mean, I can't say anything. I did both this season.
That's what I'm saying. So.
You're gonna pay it if you want to do it. But yeah, so we only had the four girls, and it was Lucy. Let me just make sure I did get it was Lucy. Yeah, Lucy that won the overall. So second in from here. I could got my left and right confused. So well done to all four girls. So this is why I said the reason I think they just come across a little bit softer, because I know to be fair, I think I follow all four girls. Seeing them in the lead up and seeing how lean they were looking, and then even on show day. And then I just think they just in the photos look a little bit softer. But going off the trend of two bros, obviously, we've seen this before where they do tend to favour Lucy's got a lovely small waist, and she's just a little bit smaller, where you've got like Laura on the end who's just quite jacked. So I think again, it's taking every result with a pinch of salt because you don't know who you're going to be up against. We still want that small waist, but depending where you compete, which is where I know we've said this before, the UK are going to go for like a smaller girl. And if we go abroad, if you go like Spain, they're probably going to go for a more muscular girl. If you go to
Yeah.
some places, it's going to be all about glutes. And if you go to some place, and I know it shouldn't be because it should be, there's a criteria, you have to stick to it, but you do have to think what looks good on your frame and what is the criteria. So I think they all brought very nice, good looks for each of them. Like they've all got a good bit of muscle. Like their glutes are all looking really nice and full. There's no one with flat glutes, which is such a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, my take when it comes to NPC is that you have to be a bit strategic about how you choose where you're going to compete. Because, and I've been saying this since 2020. I remember being on a podcast with Lauren Lotter back in the day. And I said to her, I said, my take on it is that they they want you to stand out in a lineup of girls that look just like you.
Mm.
Right. And I know that sounds like a weird thing to say because everyone wants to stand out. But what I ultimately mean by that is they have a standard that they want. And if everyone hits that standard, they want the best one of everybody hitting that standard. But they don't want you to stand out for the wrong reasons. So, you can be a victim of your lineup in a sense of like when I've competed in Spain, the girls have always typically been a little bit more muscular and a bit leaner. So, if you don't match that standard, you're going to stand out for the wrong reasons. Whereas, like when you think about girls competing in the UK, sometimes they tend to award the smaller, softer girls. So if you're jacked, that's not going to go in your favor. So I think learning a little bit about what the general standard looks like in each country and seeing where you best align is gonna favor you.
And
You
also look at who you're
don't,
against on the day as well. So for me, Matt will always tell me like assess who's in your class backstage. Because if I'm up against girls in the UK or abroad and they're quite dense and big, then full send, I can pump my upper body. That's fine. But if I'm up against girls that might be a bit smaller, I need to downsize. I need to pose down. So I need to stay cold because I get like this isn't an assisted thing. This is just a me thing. I'm a vascular person. So I need to make sure that I stay cold and I don't bring my veins out. I need to make sure that I don't pose my upper body hard. I definitely don't pump anything up other than my glutes. But if I know I'm up against girls which look quite delty, then I can do a pump. I can, pose up and flex and stuff. So being very aware of your strengths and weaknesses, like I know no matter what, I'm always going to pump my glutes. So
I think
like
everyone should do that.
everyone's going to need to do that. So, no, also be very savvy with what your strengths are and what your physique is. And if you're someone that might be on the smaller side with your upper body, know how you can pump that up. Like, are you taking, a pump pre-workout? Are you doing a lot more shoulders than you are glutes? Because maybe your glutes are a little bit fuller. Because again, don't just hammer the shit out your shoulders and then not your glute and then you look a little bit unbalanced, or do you actually need to not do your glutes because your shoulders are quite a bit more unbalanced, so you need to pump loads out of your shoulders just to create for you, just because everyone else is doing kickbacks, if you then look unbalanced. So like being very savvy with the criteria and your physique as well.
Yeah, 100%. I think when you're a first timer, this is kind of, I would say, more advanced
Oh yeah.
thinking. But I think once you've kind of done a couple of seasons, you need to understand that like bodybuilding and being on stage is more strategic than you probably think it is. Like it's not just a case of get up there and do your poses. You have to be aware and thinking about how you project yourself on stage, what your strengths are, making sure that you're not competing where you don't compare. Like there's certain things that I wouldn't do if I was stood next to you on stage. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying because I don't, if I'm honest, I don't think that most people are equipped to assess their competition without losing their mind about it. And I
Mm.
think this is where the better, the people that do better are the ones that can acknowledge strengths and weaknesses in themselves compared to other people without falling apart about it. Whereas I feel like a lot of people now use comparison to tear themselves apart. And it's like that's not it. Like comparison is like, okay, where is she better than me? Where am I better than her? And how am I going to maximize that as much as possible? And seeing it as a strategic assessment,
Yeah.
not, oh my God, I feel crap about myself now.
She's got bigger doubts than me. She's leaner than me.
I might as well quit.
Yeah. Literally, if you see someone, especially if you're emotionally comparing, if you emotionally compare, everyone's better than you. They are. Everyone, someone's bigger, someone's leaner, someone's got better glutes, someone's got better delts, someone's just got a better bloody bikini. If you
Yeah.
emotionally compare everything, but if you can subjectively compare, because I
Yes.
know I've seen girls that may have like well that do have bigger glutes than me. Like even backstage at the Arnold's this year. I'm doing my kickbacks, and I said to Matt, out of the 9 girls I was against, because I remember messaging him, and he was saying, "What are the girls like?" and all this. And I'm like, "Yeah, fine," because I'm just chatting to them, and I'm seeing them all do their kickbacks, and I was like, I would call it, yeah, I how many 9, 10 girls in my thing, and I said about 7 of them have better glutes than me. That's me being subjective. I wasn't going to get in my head about it. I still, 9 girls, 10 girls, whatever. I came second, so actually my glutes weren't as bad as I thought. But I'm not, it wasn't an emotional thing. It was I had muscular glutes, which I never thought I'd say. They had full glutes from just being softer. So
Yeah.
that's where I pulled back. But I'm then like, okay, what can I do that makes my glutes look better? I know I need more adductors. I need more upper glute. So I was focusing on that. I was focusing on like again, that doesn't mean you suddenly erratically pump up because you're panicking. I'm going
Yeah.
to control that, try and get that there. And I'm going to make sure I'm doing core control because I know my waist can be a really strong feature. So if I then go, fucking hell, I can't keep up with those glutes, and then I lose sight of everything that's my strengths. So you have to be, but that, like you said, that's very advanced thinking with stuff.
Comparison is a really useful tool in bodybuilding if you can extract yourself from it. Like instead of, like you say, being emotionally attached to it and thinking, oh my God, this is a reason to beat myself up because she's better than me here. Just think about it as if it's two competitors and you're just looking at them. Neither of them are you. And you're going to be able to identify strengths in one, weaknesses in the other, and what the each one needs to do to kind of outdo the other. It's just about detaching yourself from your involvement in that situation and looking at it for what it is. And critique, it's an opportunity. Do you know what I mean? It's an opportunity to assess where you can be better. And if it's not something that you can rectify in the moment, it gives you things to work on when you get the opportunity to. But everyone demonizes comparison, and I'm like, look, it's not the comparison that's the problem, it's how you're comparing that's the problem, or how you see comparison that's the problem.
Also results, because if you don't agree, totally gone off talking about the girls now, but if you don't
Sorry,
agree
girls.
with the result and you're not happy with that, that will make or break. You've got two forks in the road here. So you can then be like, well, sod this. I'm never, if this girl's doing better, because I've done some shows where I've come dead last, but in the same season, I've won. And you've got to remember, like, it's a different panel of judges. it's a different lineup. So you could turn around and be like, well, I had the best waist, I had the best glutes. I don't agree with this because when I look at what the Olympians, they look like this and I look like this, but this girl doesn't look like that. Like it, you
Yeah,
can either get salty and you can fully you are absolutely allowed to not agree with a placing or a judge or whatever, but you cannot stay salty about it because it doesn't change the situation. So that
yeah.
again, where you have to remove emotions and then think, okay, how are you going to keep improving? Because do you really think like you've got like Laura Lee, Ashley, Ashlyn, Maureen, they're all such different shapes and heights and they're like top of their game. Do you think they look at each other and like, do you think you've got little blonde Ashlyn who's like 5 foot, blonde hair, big old glutes, who then looks at Laura Lee, who is a completely different structure and goes, well, I don't look like that. How am I going to do well? Like it's
I always say competing is like dating in a sense of like you could have five beautiful women up there, and each man that you come across is going to tell you that a different one is their favorite based on what their preferences are. It doesn't mean that any of them are any less attractive. It
Mm.
just means that the people assessing attractiveness have a different scale of what they think is attractive. Like that's all it is. It's like, you could have five bikini competitors that all fit the category criteria, but it is just going to depend on what the judge's preference is. So, but back to the girls. Sorry,
Yeah.
we digressed.
You all got
I agree that I think that it's an interesting lineup in a sense of I feel like it really appropriately shows the scale that
yeah,
operates within the bikini criteria, because I think you could argue that they all fit the
yeah.
bikini criteria. It's just in different extremes. Um,
For
some
example,
smaller,
edge, you
softer,
couldn't do
some
yeah,
bigger, leaner, some in between, and it's a sliding scale. And yeah, so I wouldn't necessarily say that I think that nobody belongs here, but they're all in different parts of what the criteria is, and the judges have their view on what they think is the best fit.
yeah. I feel like however the results went, you could see a four for anyone. You could be like, well, like you said, like Lucy has a lovely little waist and a wide top line, but then you've got other girls that have good full glutes and a glute ham tie. Some have really good delts. So like I think
Yeah.
it could go either way. So they're all bringing their own strengths because if you've got say Laura on the end who tries to pull off a look like Lucy's, it's not going to. They're too opposite, but they are still on paper like bringing a very good bikini look. So I think
Yes.
it's then just taking that with a pinch of salt, and then again based on where they go next with the show.
I do think that's very specific as well to NPC. I personally feel that the key to it is to bring the look that best suits your physique, but
Yeah,
understanding that that's not going to be the look that every judging panel favors. But you have to keep showing up with what is the best look on you, and it will land with the judging panel that favors that. Because the thing is, if you keep taking on board feedback from different judges and expecting those tweaks to work with a different judge that likes something completely different, that's where you end up getting these statements where they go, oh, I don't know what the judges want. And it's like, well, you're trying to apply feedback from this judge that likes a leaner look, and then you're presenting it in front of a judge that likes a softer look. It doesn't make any sense. Like, if you keep showing up in front of the same judge, then of course it makes sense to take on board their feedback, tweak it, and then show up with those changes, because you're literally taking on board that specific judge's feedback. But if you're planning on standing in front of a different judge, you kind of have to take that with a pinch of salt, in a sense of if you agree with what they've said, implement it. But if you're like, I'm not sure, I'm going to take my chances and see what this next judge thinks of me with the look that I think is best, then go ahead and do that. But like, I don't think it makes sense to me to make changes based on what Judge A says and hope that Judge B will like it, because they like slightly different things.
yeah. It'll be interesting to see who is going abroad here because the next abroad shows. I think there's Romania. I know there's Romania. I think no, Austria's just been. So there's
Austria's
Romania.
just different.
next weekend, and then there's Milan the weekend after because I'm going to be in Milan.
Mm.
So I'll be able to keep an eye on that one as well. But maybe we put this here if we can get the coverage and the one is there, we could maybe cover some of the NPC pro qualifiers as well because hopefully there are like a good group of UK girls doing the pro qualifiers. So we can obviously do PCA, obviously two bros, but then if there are pro qualifiers and you want us to kind of cover that as well, we can go over a little bit of that as well.
So 5 followers, let us know. It all
You
rests on you.
get 3 votes, you've tipped it, we'll do it.
Yeah, no, like I said, I like this lineup of overall
Mm.
um winners. Um
Yeah, I think that's
well
it, to be
everybody.
fair. There's this here as well. So there is the
I
open.
like this. I saw that. I was like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's quite cool. So at the Life Centre. So that's the 17th of
No
October.
bikini though.
Huh?
No bikini though.
Um, I'm not sure why. Is that because they've had a pro show though already? Because they had a pro show
Do they
earlier.
only have
Don't know. That's all I can think. Because they
maybe
only
that's
had
fine.
women's bikini pro, didn't they? So I don't
I mean,
know.
I like it though. It's cool. I like the fact they called it ladies' night as well. That's sick.
Right. So yeah, that is everyone. Let's go back to this. So we have,
Congratulations all.
yeah, well done to everyone that did compete. It's nice that the shows are kicking off again. So PCA Wales, then there's PCA, there's just loads of PCA shows coming up every weekend, which is great.
Yeah, we love it. Good coverage means better commentary.
So that is everything. I think it's a lot shorter this time, but we still covered it. We've still gone through a few things, and it is a very exciting season about to kick off again. So looking forward to covering everything.
I'm excited for the Welsh because it's obviously a pro card show. So good luck to everybody that's going for it. And I look forward to seeing who comes out victorious.
Look forward to it. So same as always, like, subscribe, comment, everything else, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.